And I'm actually going to drop a couple of links in the chat right now before I forget. This is the original doc that was sent out with the cameras. And this just can, one second. Everyone, okay. This has a bunch of the Help Center articles and resources and links that you can go through that will give you a step-by-step of how to set these things up. And I'm going to be doing this in person. The whole point of this is to do more of a demo so that you can ask questions as I'm going through the process. So make sure you bookmark that and you keep it on hand. If you haven't set up some of these things before, it'll help you get started. And I'll send one other, oh, go ahead.
If I could just say one thing for all of the attendees, any links that are put in the chat that you find really helpful, I would just request that you copy them and paste them onto your own computer as soon as you're able to, just because once you leave the Zoom, the chat won't be available to you anymore. So to just make sure that if there are any specific links that you have, make sure you copy them and paste them onto your own computer or wherever you're easily able to find it. However, we will also send a recap as well that includes it. But just for yourselves, just knowing that the Zoom chat won't be available once you leave. So sorry, Neda.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Yeah, the Zoom chat, we can always send like these links out later on, but make sure you just like save the docs and the links that I send in the chat. The second thing that I sent, actually, they just launched today. It was either today or sometime this week. It's a playbook, which is basically just talking about best practices during Ramadan, some things that would be good to know, whether you're just setting up a Facebook group or whether you're setting up fundraisers, and just things to keep in mind to reach your community. And so I think it's great that they're looking in particular at what would help the Muslim community during this month. So take a look through that. And another resource is the Faith Hub. I'm going to share my screen now to show you what that looks like. Yeah, can you all see this? Okay, so here is the list of resources that I just sent out. And here's the Faith Hub in particular. They came out with this last year around the time of COVID. This consolidates a lot of the same resources that we were talking about before. The first thing that we can get started on is fundraising. If some of you have set up fundraisers before for your organization, then you can assume that you're already onboarded to these tools, so you won't have to worry about it. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow this link. I have this in the doc as well. Sign up to fundraise and access charitable giving tools. Now, this takes around 2 to 3 weeks for you to get approved. If you're registered as a 501c3, you just need to go through this process. They ask a couple of basic questions. I don't think I can do it with my page right now, but I can show you that when you go through the process, as long as you have this information on hand, it should be pretty quick and finish the application within 20, 30 minutes. And then it'll take some time for it to get approved. And I have an email linked here, ramadan.facebook@gmail.com, just because I can't answer all the questions myself. So I'm working with 2 other Muslim employees here. If you haven't heard back within 2 weeks and Ramadan is starting and like you want to expedite the process, just let me know and I can flag this to the right people internally so that we can make sure you get approved in time to start setting up fundraisers. So if you do have any questions or if anything comes up, just email us here and then we'll make sure to follow up as soon as possible. So the first step is, if you have not fundraised before, make sure you sign up and you submit this application because it'll take some time to get approved. Yeah, are there any questions yet? No? Okay. We can go forward with the little demo that I had planned, which is just setting up a fundraiser. For some of you that have set one up before, this may be intuitive. It should be pretty simple. If you have set up fundraisers, there's 2 different types. You can either set it up as a user, and right now I'm just working with a test user and a test page. So this is all just as an example. And what I'm going to be doing in particular, though, is looking at setting up a fundraiser for a page. All of you that have Muslim organizations or masajids should have a dedicated Facebook page. And anyone that wants to follow up with the masjid, the events that you're doing, the fundraisers should be following your page. And from there, you can create events specific to your masjid, and then you can also create fundraisers. I think I'm sharing my whole screen right now, just the tab. Okay. I'm gonna actually just share the tab to make it easier. Okay, should just be the tab now. So when you go onto your Facebook page, and I encourage anyone that has like if you're logged into Facebook right now, just kind of go through this process too, so it's easy for you to keep in mind. You can create a fundraiser as the page itself. These are all of the fundraisers that were created for this page. And you can create it if you're an admin of the page. So I'm gonna go to my fundraisers. I'm gonna create a new one for a nonprofit. And one piece of advice is occasionally it makes sense to create it as your page. Here I can just switch because I'm an admin for this page. But at times, if you have someone that's, involved with your masjid that has a really big following, then if they create it, then you'll more likely there'll be more traction, more people will see it on their newsfeed and in other places. So that's just a tip. If you just created a new Facebook page and then you want to start fundraising for it, then it might make more sense to have someone that's already pretty involved and visible on Facebook. Here you can select the nonprofit. Your organization will be here if you're registered with Facebook's tools, like I mentioned before. And I'm just gonna use my masjid as an example. San Diego. They're registered and everything. And so if this organization is registered as a nonprofit, anyone can create a fundraiser for them. So we have that. You can set the goal. This type of fundraiser, you have basically a start and an end time. So if I'm going to create this today, it'll start today, and then I can have it run for, this by default, it's 15 days. So I'm going to just set goal amount of 1,000. And if you want to have some, campaign, you can have it start beginning of Ramadan and then end around the end of Ramadan. Or if you want it to just do something the last 10 days, then you can always do that. And once the fundraiser is created, then you can start advertising it. And I'll also show you, sorry, there's probably going to be some, I don't know if it created that or not. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Let's hope that this goes through this time. If not, I have another fundraiser I can show you. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so just some tips, inviting friends, sharing it, and then donating yourself. So you can always invite people or you can share it. And I believe you can't necessarily boost a fundraiser, but what you can do is create a post with the fundraiser linked, and then you can boost that. So when you boost these posts, you can advertise to specific audiences, you can target who it's going to. This is just so that you can increase your reach. So right now we have this fundraiser that I've created. And before I go on, I actually want to show you all some examples of fundraising from last Ramadan, just as inspiration as we get started this year. There were some messages that were really creative that did some really cool things that I wanted to share. Okay, so you should be able to see this, right? I'm going to assume that's a yes. So there are a couple of things that you can do. Right now I'm talking about the intersection of Facebook Live and fundraising. So you can see that when you are going live, this is me just viewing it from my cell phone. You can see the comments that are coming in on the video itself. And as an admin of the page that's going live, you can also pin certain comments. This is another feature that's really handy. So what this Islamic Center did was they pinned a comment that had a link to where they could donate. And so this was a good way to make sure people were seeing it as they're watching the video. We have a couple others where they added a donate button to their live stream, and I'll show you how to do this in a minute. And with this donate button, you basically are just keeping track of how much money was raised on this video itself. This is different from the fundraiser that I just showed you. The fundraiser that I went through earlier, you have a start and an end time, and you have a goal. So when you have a goal of raising $1,000, then you'd be able to see that at the bottom. So this is the type of fundraiser that I was just showing you, which is where we had a goal, and then you have a starting amount, and you can see how much was raised throughout the video and throughout the time the fundraiser is existing. So we have a couple of other examples of like fundraising and lives that were going on that were for the purpose of fundraising itself. Here's another example of a button in the live video itself. And the great thing about fundraising on Facebook is that, first of all, there's no fees. So you can collect donations. You don't have to worry about, any fees being taken. And also, if you're live streaming, you're going to be live streaming your fundraiser anyway. Being able to donate directly in the live stream itself, like we found a lot more people are likely to donate because it's so much easier versus like having it on Zoom and then having to link up to another page. So, I mean, another example is where they had a link to donate directly within the video, which is a creative way of doing it. They also could have had it as a pinned comment like I had showed a little bit earlier. And we have a couple of others. And that's that. So alhamdulillah, at the end of the month, I had actually set up this fundraiser with the Islamic Center of San Diego during the last 10 days. I just, Sheikh Taha's my Sheikh there, showed him how to create the fundraiser. He created it because he has a lot of friends, had a lot of reach, so a lot of people saw it. And then every night during Tarawih, we linked it at the bottom of the live stream. And then alhamdulillah, by the end of it, we had raised $35,000 just from that one button on the live video. So this just goes to show how much how these features and these tools are really valuable and how they can help you fundraise during the month. Now I'll go back to Facebook. 1 second. Okay, so that was an example of how the fundraiser looked on the live video itself. Now we can actually link the fundraiser that we just made to a live. So I'm gonna go live as my page. And for any of you that have gotten the Mevo cameras, there's a different process to connecting that to Facebook Live. I haven't worked with one of those cameras before. I don't know exactly like how you would connect it, so I can't speak about that. But I can show you if I were to just go live through my computer, how I can connect this fundraiser to it, and then you can see how you would donate. Are there any questions that have come up since then?
Yes, someone had asked, what is the benefit of creating a fundraiser on myself or as a page? Is there a difference?
So the difference is just that it's better if it's as the page, right? This entity is raising money for, it's a organization that people know. When you're creating it as an individual, if that person has a lot of friends and a lot of people know them, then there'll be more visibility on the fundraiser itself. You can have co-hosts for an event, but I don't think you can create a fundraiser and have co-hosts or multiple people that have created it. So I would honestly suggest figuring out how big of a following your page has, how many people maybe someone else that could create the fundraiser for has, and then just deciding from there. And you can always do both. So I'll share my screen again and I will show you what it looks like, because there's a society, they changed their logo. You can see the fundraisers that have that they've had before. So whenever someone wants to raise money for Mass, right, this is just an individual that's creating their own fundraiser for Mass itself. Mass has also created fundraisers for itself, as you can see. So you can just kind of like mix and match, right? Like you don't always have to create fundraisers for yourself during the month. If you have members in the community that can create them for you, then like you can always just keep track of it in one place. Yeah. Both are options. It's whatever you think works the best and what would have the most reach.
And there was one more question, which is kind of a two-part, and I don't know if it'd be best for you to answer this now, or maybe you can save it for later. But it was asking specifically about boosting posts and about marketing. That was the main issue that they were having, and just boosting for the sake of boosting might not be effective. If you have any recommendations or tips on that.
Yeah, so I'm not as savvy in the marketing and ad side. We're actually planning on doing another webinar next week, talking more about ads and marketing. But you can, so for certain posts, let's see. I want to share the fundraiser and copy this. I want to make sure I can boost the posts on this. Maybe it has to be done from my page. Let me try that. Yeah, so let's say I want to boost my post. It'll kind of give me some options to see who I'd want to target this to. And I don't know how to optimize who you're targeting it to, how long to boost it for. But we'll be talking more about that later. What I can say right now though is we have ad credit at Facebook. Each employee gets $250 per month to run ads. A lot of times this money goes to waste, and we have a lot of Muslim employees that are willing to donate their ad credit for the month. So what we're planning on doing, if you had filled out the form expressing that you are interested in getting ad credit or advertising on Facebook, then we can connect you to one of these employees. You can work with them, have them as an admin on your page, and then you can use that for the entire month. And so hopefully that helps a little bit with advertising. You'll have the funds for the month. If there's, I'll just pull the list that we had already. I know that I have some of the responses from the form, but Melik, if you have more, or if you know more people that are interested in ad credit, just let me know, and I can make sure we find them someone. So yeah, I can't speak too much about, how to optimize advertising right now, but we can talk about that later. Yeah. Okay. So are there any other questions, Melik, before I continue?
No, those were the only ones that came in.
Okay, perfect. So now let me go live and I can show you how to link the fundraiser to the live stream. So I'm just gonna go live with my camera just to make it easier. I want to post it to a page, and the reason is because I want to add a donate button, and I can only post it to a page that is already onboarded as a nonprofit and can fundraise. So as you can see, I don't have the option here to collect donations. I'm going to have to post this on this other page that I have that's approved. So we have this page. There you go. Okay, you can see my whole screen, I'm pretty sure. So here's going to be my test live stream. And what I'm going to do now is link the fundraiser that we just created for the Islamic Center of San Diego, just as an example. You can always cross-post to multiple pages. So I know that Mass does this a lot because they have the national chapter, then they have regional chapters. So they just cross-post to all of them. And then you can also share it to some groups. So I'm going to go live. And then once it goes live, I'll send a link in the chat. And then you all can see what that looks like. You can see, one second while it posts. Okay. I'm gonna go, actually, I'm gonna stay here. Just gonna send it from my phone so that I don't leave there. Okay. So I'm going to send this in chat so that all of you can take a look at the live stream. Stop this for a second. Okay. So I'm still going live. You can see if you click on that link, it should show, right, that you can donate at the bottom of the video. Let me know
So
if you have trouble
when
with.
I click it, it actually says this contact isn't available right now. This usually happens because the owner only shared it with a small group of people.
There should be a public page, so let me confirm that.
I don't know if anyone else had the same issue or if it was just me. Maybe you can tell us in the chat.
Yeah, let me know if it's not working. Okay.
And this is exactly, a good reason why we get like this practice and figuring out all of these kinks, for all of us, especially, whenever we're having events. It'd be the worst thing for this to happen on the day of. So, now we
Yeah.
get to work through a lot of these things.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't see it now, that's okay. I can't see the comments right now in the chat, but if it hasn't come up yet, then that's okay.
No one
This
is,
is,
we can't register. Okay.
okay. So yeah, that's basically the process of setting up this fundraiser. I showed you screenshots of what that looks like once you add the donate button or once you link a fundraiser. And ideally, when you have a single fundraiser that you've created for the entire month with a goal, you can link the same fundraiser every live video that you have to try to reach like that goal. And so people can see the progress every time, which is great, especially when you have frequent lives. So like I mentioned, Civic Center of San Diego had lives every night for Tarawih. And so we would have them going on pretty frequently. And just as like an example of best practices too, I always look to Sheikh Omar Suleiman's page because him and his team at Yaqeen do a very good job in fundraising and donations. So majority of the posts that you see that they have during Ramadan and even outside of Ramadan, they add a donate button to the post, and anyone can add a donate button to any post that they have. This one was to a post that's also a link to a live video. So I can show you how to do that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So that was one example of a simple fundraiser, which was the one that you just add to a post. So. And so this is the same idea as the donate button that you saw in the video itself. It's different from a fundraiser because it doesn't have an end goal, it just has some amount that you can raise. And you can see that's what he was doing in this live stream. Another example is they had this telethon last year that was also very successful that I would look to as another example. What they had, this was basically, what is it, 5 hours. It was a live stream. They had the fundraiser link to the bottom. I don't think that they ended up posting it. I can't see exactly how much they'd raised, but I remember following along that day. It was going really well. A couple of things to keep in mind, like I already showed you before on certain pages, like Mass, you could see all the fundraisers that they had. What you can also do is set up a live tab. And I set up a live tab for the page that we were just looking at right now. This allows you to just like easily link all of the videos and all of the lives that you've had in the past. It's basically, if you look at the top, facebook.com/your masjid's page/live_videos. And so that's just a quick way to share all the videos that you have during the month. So this was kind of just like an overview demo, just trying to walk through what avenues there are to fundraise through Facebook. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and then I can start sharing if there are specific questions that come up that I can go through. But I don't want to be talking for too much or to repeat anything you already know. So let me know what I can go a little bit deeper in, or if you have any questions that came up.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, you can put it into the chat. or into the QA function, or you can send them directly, whatever works best for you, inshallah, just to get any questions, you may have answered. One thing that kind of came to mind when you were talking about all of this, and specifically at ICSD, was, Masajid are having live streams, especially in Ramadan, every single night, or at the very least right now, they're probably doing it every Friday. So adding that donate button to their Friday live stream. So not only necessarily when they're doing a fundraiser, but definitely whenever they're doing anything, whenever they're posting anything, they should add it.
Yeah, Omar Suleiman does that with almost every single post that he has, and you'll see just the single post will raise a couple $1,000, another like video post will raise $10,000, and it's just so easy. Once I, as a user, I put in my bank information, my credit card information on Facebook, it takes 2 clicks. I click on the post, I click on the donate button, and it's done. I've donated. It makes it so much easier. More people are likely to donate. So it's a feature that is underused that has so much potential for really changing like the fundraising that you're doing during the month. And so I highly encourage getting set up and doing things like that, and having someone that's managing your social media that can make sure that you have all of this set up. And what we can do is when we do connect you to someone who has ad credit at Facebook, they can also be a resource for you. If you need someone that's a little bit more tech savvy that can help walk through things like this with you, then we can do that.
Absolutely. So if there are any other questions or please put it either in the chat or the QA. I saw a question somewhere and now it just disappeared. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I sent the link to the doc and also the playbook. A lot of those just have like best practices and things you can do during the month. I highly recommend, like Malik was saying, when you are live streaming, attaching donations and fundraisers, making sure that you have people that have visibility and followings, like creating fundraisers for you, making sure that you're boosting those fundraisers and those posts. Those are all things that would help during the month. And then hopefully the cameras are also a really good resource. Alhamdulillah, I'm really glad that we were able to get those cameras from Facebook. Took a little bit of time, but they were okay with donating them. And now we're, I think, still working on distribution, but hopefully that helps with live streaming and then makes it easier to set up fundraising with it too.
Inshallah.
We appreciate it, Sister Nada. It was really good presentation. My apology, I had to come a little bit later. But those cameras been now received by people. I receive every single minute that camera has been delivered. So alhamdulillah, that's going on. And I'm sure that when people use the cameras in conjunction with the fundraising and stuff like that, probably they should see different return this Ramadan than previous Ramadan. Definitely USCMO is looking forward to do that. So inshallah, we'll keep pushing it though.
Inshallah. Yeah, everyone is online now. Like when I was doing a little bit of research last year, seeing what masajid were doing during Ramadan, I saw this one masjid that would do drive-through fund. They had a drive-through fundraiser where they wanted people to come drive up to the masjid. They had this donation box in front and people would just donate through that. But obviously like that complicates things when right now it's so much easier to just be able to do all of this online, to be able to donate online. And you don't even have to worry about setting up your own website and your own donation platform, or all of that gets really complicated really fast. You can always just do this directly through Facebook where a majority of your community already is. So everyone is online now. Facebook is a really great resource. So if there's anything I can do to help on that side, then I'm available.
All right. That's really good. Well, I'm sure that people will still probably ask some questions and we'll make sure that we forward those to you. And it depends on how this goes from now. We may have to have another session of the same one here about fundraising that people, those who missed, I'm sure that they would be interested to see. People just kind of a little not sure what this Facebook is, but it seemed like the word is getting out, and I can see from people signing up for the cameras that it's becoming serious in their minds, especially those who received it. They said, wow, it is really a good camera. It is,
Yeah.
So I think it's making a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing and how you did it with Facebook. It's very helpful for us.
That's good. And yeah, the features too, once you have the live, the live streaming camera set up and stuff, it, the doc has all of the step-by-step instructions of how to set that up. But if it does get complicated, what I had to do last year was set it up for some messages. I can't do that on my own this year, but like I'd mentioned, we can get you in touch with another Facebook employee who's Muslim that can give you the credit and that can also help you set these things up. So if we can do that sort of one-to-one mapping of like masjid to Facebook employee that can help them out, just let me know what the best way to connect people.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. If there are no more questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to relink the
can...
document that she's talking about. So just another note for everyone, because we talked about a lot and there were a lot of links that she talked about. Most of them are consolidated into this last link, this document that I just shared again. We just ask that you copy and paste this outside of the chat, because once the Zoom finishes, once you leave the Zoom, the chat will go away and you won't exactly have that. We will send it out separately, but just for now, and to make sure that you have it in an easily accessible place, you can go ahead and copy that and paste it on your own computer. And it really has those resources and kind of a lot of the different things that Nada went over. And like she said, we're here, we are available to answer any questions, to help in any way that we can. We again want to amplify and really take our organizations to the next levels, and that's what USCMO, Islamic Shura Council of Southern California, Majlis Shura New York, and all of us, that's really what we are here to do. So any way we can help and assist in doing that, we're here. So please, inshallah, just let us know.
Yeah. And one other thing I just remembered too is they're looking at highlighting. If you look at the playbook that I had linked, there's a team at Facebook that wants to highlight some of the fundraising campaigns that are being created by the Muslim community during Ramadan. So I told her I would send her some links once folks start creating fundraisers. So if you have any in mind, Malik, I can just forward to her. Once people start setting those up, we can feature them.
Hey.
So with that, inshallah, Brother Osama, you can end it off, and then we look forward to, inshallah, seeing everyone again for our next 2, or actually 3 or potentially even 4 sessions that we'll be having again. The next one will be on April 6th at 6 p.m. inshallah, and that will be on specifically targeting marketing and ads, how to market your campaigns, how to market your videos, how to market your organization, and how to properly use ads and boosting to ensure that it gets to the most people, not only just random people, but the people specifically that you are trying to target, inshallah. So that will be the next one, that is on April 6th at 6 p.m. Did I get that right? Just making sure, everyone? Yes? Okay, perfect. Yes. Alhamdulillah. So that will be,
if it says 5:30, but it is 6 p.m. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Pacific time.
Pacific time. A little bit of confusion there. So maybe at 5:30 we'll have like a get to know everyone, and then we'll start the webinar at 6, inshallah.